Welcome back. It is the Flow Friday Sports Show on Flow FM. Sheridan Brand, Yorke Valley Basketball Association Secretary, is joining me on the line. This is one of the oldest and biggest basketball associations in country SA, and it's good to have some local basketball on the show. Sheridan, thank you very much for joining me. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
My pleasure. Like I said, it's good to cover off on some country basketball because I know basketball is very popular in the country, but it can be a bit of a secondary sport to footy and netball and cricket and other things. And we'll get into that in a moment, but just start us off with some basic details about this association.
Well, basically, the Yorke Valley Basketball Association, at the moment, currently, we have approximately 900 registered players in our juniors and our seniors, which is about 118 teams which play locally. So we play our games at the Copper Coast Sports and Leisure Centre in Sheridan, which had a major upgrade a fair few years ago now. So we actually have wooden sprung courts to play on inside in the air conditioning, which is rather nice, other than when they used to play outside, fully outside, on asphalt courts in all sorts of weather. So it's really nice to have a stadium that we do. We have senior teams ranging from A grade, B grade and C grade. And then we have our junior teams, which range from the under-10s right up into our under-18s, who also fill into our senior teams. So on Friday nights, we actually play over 2 nights in the week. So on Friday nights, we have approximately 20 games going from 6 o'clock to 11 o'clock at night. We have our under-18s right through to our senior grades of A, B and C. And then on Monday nights, we start our little under-10s at 4:30 and our under-16s have their last game at about 8:45 at night. And that's like under-10s right through to under-16s, and that's boys and girls. So we have a lot happening through the week in our district with basketball. It's a sport which has really grown over the last 5 years.
Sounds like there's been a lot of growth.
Yeah, there has. I've been the association secretary for 20 years now, and it's always been a popular sport at home. Second best for some to the football and the netball. Sometimes, for some of them, it's a fill-in summer sport because winter sport is their thing. But it has really taken off in the last 5 years. We don't actually have any more room on Friday night for any more games. We're full. And sometimes with our juniors, we have to actually hire out the local basketball court at Harvest Christian School as well to fit in the junior games, so that we haven't got too many games outside. Because we still do have 2 outdoor courts, which the juniors play on Monday night. So it is still, even though it's an expensive sport, it is still a growing sport, which is really great because it's an awesome sport to play.
That is really great, and unfortunately most sports are expensive sports these days when you go through the fees and the uniforms and the equipment that you need and all the rest of it. But yeah, that's really great to hear that lots of people are getting involved. And like you touched on there, it's a big basketball region. It's very popular, even if it's not necessarily everyone's main sport. It might be just a bit of fitness through the summer, gearing up for footy season in the winter, which obviously footy in South Australia, in pretty much all regions of South Australia, is king. But there's a lot of crossover in the skills. A lot of footy players do have basketball backgrounds, or the skills sort of just naturally cross over. So even if it's not everyone's main sport, that is really great. And when I coached and played in Adelaide, there were a lot of kids who travelled from Sheridan twice a week, once for a training and once for a game, and not just Sheridan, surrounding areas too. And there's a lot of commitment, and clearly there's a lot of good players coming out of the region.
Yeah, that is so true. We've had some of our families actually travel 3 times a week to Adelaide for their kids to have that next level opportunity in their basketball. And a lot of our kids, there's been a lot that's actually gone right up through to representing SA in Albury. Some of them have gone on further than that. we're quite proud of the fact of Stephanie Talbot, the captain of Lightning. She actually started her basketball on our courts back when it was all asphalt. And sometimes, when Steph's schedule allows her, she comes back and presents some medals to juniors at our junior grand finals, which is really great. But we have had a lot of kids go play in districts in Adelaide to further their basketball, which is really good. But it is such a commitment from the family. But we've also had some of the umpires actually do that as well to further their umpiring career, that they've been travelled back and forth on a Friday night to Adelaide as well. So you'd get back to Kadina about 1 o'clock in the morning, which was with a good old stopover at Port Wakefield for a coffee for mum who's driving, and normally some more food for the kid who's been playing or umpiring. So
yeah, very big commitment.
It is a very big commitment, and it's an expensive commitment because there's all the petrol going back and forth. And
the bakery costs going back and forth, like you said, the coffee and the bakery costs. There's a lot to it.
Yeah, there is. It's very complex.
Yes, but like I said, there's no shortage of kids playing in Adelaide and doing that travel. And it's not just from the northern Yorke Peninsula and that sort of region. It's lots of country kids across SA, they do it. But it's good to know that they've got this option of a local comp as well. But yeah, the kids that I coached from this sort of area when I was coaching, what I saw from them was just a really strong passion for basketball. And you can tell that from this area, the kids in this area love playing basketball. Like I said, even if it's not their main sport, they love playing it. They love watching the best players in the world over in the NBA. And it's almost like a cultural thing that has taken over a little bit. What would you say your read is on the way kids are perceiving basketball in the region? Is there a strong love for it? Is there a lot of talk about, I want to be like Steph Curry when I grow up. I want to play like LeBron James and that sort of thing?
Yeah, you do see that, especially in the younger juniors, especially in the boys. When they come out and they're trying to do all the LeBron movements and things like that, but there is a lot of passion in the district for the basketball, and I think watching their heroes on TV and even watching their local heroes, we have some really good senior players that have dedicated their time and their life to our local basketball and play some still some great A-grade games and B-grade games. And you can see the younger ones on the sidelines watching them as well and hopefully getting inspired to become the senior players of those clubs. So we actually have 7 clubs in our association, locally, which is really great. But we also get players, we have some players coming down even from Port Augusta and Port Pirie playing in our local teams on a Friday night. So basketball is a really great sport to be involved in. It's a great culture and, it's a really good thing to get your little kids. We have the under-10s to have to be 6 to hit the court and, it's really great to still watch those under-10s all running around after the basketball and seeing them finally put their first basket up into the hoop and get so excited. So it's a great culture to be around.
Definitely is. I used to coach Aussie hoops and there is no more exciting moment for the 5-year-old new participants than when they make their first basket. Everyone's cheering, everyone's happy for them. It really is a special moment and a great culture for the young ones to be around.
Certainly is.
You've got the Yorkers Carnival coming up in the new year. No doubt that in February will be a real highlight for next year or next year / the current season that we're in right now. Yeah,
the Yorkers Carnival is fantastic. This is when we have, this year, this carnival in February, so that's the 17th and the 18th of February next year. We have 74 teams already registered coming in to play in the carnival. Yorkers ourselves, we have 12 teams. Ourselves in it, and there'll be about 190 games playing over that Saturday and Sunday in Kadina. We also have to utilise the Wallaroo Primary School Stadium. We have used the Moonta Area School Court as well, and we also use the Harvest Christian College Court. because we could just, for that bigger carnival, we need to actually expand where they're all playing. But with that, with 74 teams coming in, there's also usually 74 families. So it's a great expansion for the area. There's, what we do best when we are at carnivals is we go shopping in between games.
Yes.
So,
I'm familiar with those memories on trips to various places for basketball and spending hours between games at the various outlets and that sort of thing. It's a very good memory.
It is, yes. So it's really good for our local businesses as well, and also our local accommodation places. So yes, it's a very full-on weekend because, of course, we play our Friday night basketball on the Friday night, and then we go straight into Yorke's Carnival first thing Saturday morning. So, and then, Monday again we have juniors. So it's just a full-on time, but it is a wonderful time.
Sounds like a lot of driving for you, Sheridan.
Yeah, there's always a lot of driving involved with basketball.
There is, yes.
But we've got associates. So we've got Port Lincoln, Whyalla, Roxby, Port Augusta, Adelaide Plains, Barossa, Murray Bridge, Riverland, Light and Eastern Hills coming to our carnival next February, which is fantastic.
Yeah, that certainly gives a sense of just how popular basketball is across country South Australia, because like we touched on, it might not be as big as footy, but the fact that all those regions have their own league and players aren't having to travel too far from where they are to participate in their own league or to have a team nearby, that's really encouraging, because that's a lot of different leagues you just cycled through there, and it's covering off a good chunk of the state.
And when we opened up registrations this week, they're basic because we have to, cap the teams. We can only fit so many. It's, done and dusted within, 10 or 15 minutes, 20 minutes for registration for the carnival. So it's very popular. I think probably the Copper Coast is a big draw card as well, because we've got our fantastic beaches, Moonta and Port Hughes and Wallaroo and North Beach. So I think it's a great area for people to come in, make it a bit of a, family getaway, quick getaway, plus also do the basketball at the same time. And it's not too far from, Roxby's a fair way in Port Lincoln, but generally it's not too far to travel to the Copper Coast.
Yeah, very good. Well, Sheridan, we better wrap things up there. I really appreciate your time today, and I'll certainly be in touch with you again to keep tabs on the Yorke Valley Basketball Association. Just before you go, is there anywhere you direct any listeners to go if they're keen to get involved? Maybe they live nearby and want to join a basketball team, or they just want to learn a bit more about the association. Is there anywhere you direct people to go online?
Yeah, well, we have our Yorke Valley Basketball Association Facebook page. That's always a great place to start. You can just Google us as well, Yorke Valley Basketball Association, and it comes up. So my number is normally the one that pops up. But, that's probably, the Facebook page is actually probably the easiest way to get in contact with us.
All right. Thank you very much, Sheridan. Been a pleasure, and I look forward to talking to you again in the new year.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on. We'll talk soon.